Hi, it's Jacqueline here. Thank you for joining me again on this program. I'd like to talk about how I transitioned from being a full-time carer to actually going back to work. Now, when I say full-time carer, um, I have two young people with special needs. And when you have special needs in the midst of your family, in the UK, you're referred to as a carer to them. Yes, you're a mother, but they call you a carer because you're caregiving, and it is a little bit more demanding. There's far more you're doing that you'd ordinarily do, and it makes it hard for you to actually transition and go to work. You may have stopped working. And I know that the majority of parents stop working for a while, if not for longer term, where you have one parent perhaps will continue going out to work, the other one might stay at home because of the challenges that come with being a carer. I fell in that category perhaps when my son, who is almost 20 now, was about three and a half, I believe. And I then had his brother, who is now almost 16, plus older ones that I have as well. I fell in that category and became a carer, and that was due to the challenges. Now, I did not go back to work until a year and a half ago. And during that time, I did have small businesses on the side, which I was doing, and that was eBay business. Now, it did work well, and I had to do a lot of research, but that is not a topic for today. And I could talk about that in another video if people are willing to listen to that as well in another video. Now, after some time, and as my children, now young people, were grown, I felt the need to actually pick myself up and get myself back into the work environment externally. One of the ways to get back to work as a carer, I would say, is through agency work. Here in the United Kingdom, there are agencies that you can actually work with and do temping work. For those of you who are here, you're immigrants, you're from any African country or wherever country you're from, and you're watching this video, some of the ways in which you can quickly transition to work and work to suit your life to a certain extent is to do agency work, which is also called temping in the United Kingdom. Agencies um, vary from industry to industry. So, for maybe the construction industry, they'll have different agencies. For catering and hospitality, they have different agencies who particularly cater for that specific for those specific roles. And under that particular agency, they'll also divide it into smaller areas, of which you will have one or two or three people dealing with those areas and recruiting staff to actually send them out to work as work becomes available. For some agencies, you can now choose your work on an app. For instance, there are some care agencies as well. You can choose your work and your shifts on an app. So that makes it easy or easier for people to actually choose what work they can do and when they can do it. So you can fit it within your own family's um, lifestyle, within what suits you and the timings that suit you. You can fit them within that time. For instance, I myself work within the education sector, and I can either go to schools and work within the early years up to perhaps reception or year one, or and I work as a nursery nurse or an early years educator within the private um, nurseries, and also council nurseries, for instance, if they need somebody in such places. So on any given day, I just let them know my availability and the times that I can actually go to work. It could be hours of 10 to 6, 9 to 5, 8 to 6, 8:30 to 6. It really depends. I've done really shifts that I can fit in. If I can't fit in, I let them know straight away. And you can also be called on the very day in the morning, and they can tell you, could you be somewhere? How do I maneuver that? Well, I get up and I get myself ready. Like today, I was supposed to go to work. I got myself ready, um, but unfortunately, or fortunately, there was no work because I'm just recovering anyway. So I thought, okay, um, yeah, I'm much better. I can go to work, but if there isn't any work today, that's also okay. I will just do something else. There's always something to do. So the beauty of it is that you can decline work and you can accept work. By God's grace, I always have work to do. I always have up to 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes maybe 3 times a week, I'm actually able to go to work. And do I want to do more work than that? Then I say so. If I don't, I don't. And you can sign up with more than one agency. It's actually okay. So that you can actually, if one doesn't have work, perhaps another has work for you. So that can also work. And it has been going on fine for the first um, year, year and a half now. And I have built a reputation with the agency. They know my work, and they know the kind of nurseries that I would, happy to go to. I try to keep them within my area and within my region to mainly reduce also the transportation costs and the time to actually get there. However, I live in the area of Kent, which I've gone as far as to work up to, it's taken me up to 2 hours to get home sometimes because I have to catch two buses and there's traffic in the evening, but up to 45 minutes to an hour to go to some places just because sometimes it's, I'm finding my route to get there if it's the first time I'm going to a place. So that is one of the ways you can get yourself back to work. And I'd just like to also talk about catering and catering work for many carers as a way. I'm not talking about everybody here, and I'm not talking to everybody. It doesn't mean that you have to go to those roles and jobs that you feel that are against your skill. Many of us have many skills, but when you take a lot of time out of work to actually get yourself back in something can take quite a bit of work in itself. It's work in itself. You've got to fill up your CV. You've got to explain yourself as to why you've been out of work. So very often it makes sense to start something that you can actually do and then get a reputation and gain a reference to actually give you that further boost and give you a reference to actually move on to the next step. So that's what I did. Going back to it, catering is a good way of getting yourself in. An agency might ask you to do some courses. And also for those of you who are just coming into UK and perhaps you're trying to switch jobs or you're trying to look for something really quick to actually do, catering work, working in kitchens, supporting kitchen staff, and so forth, it's not very much pay, to be honest. But I remember doing that as a student when I was doing hospitality and catering many years ago. And we used to do agency work during the holidays just to give us some extra cash. That's a way of getting yourself quickly into work because the economy is such that if you're really looking for work, you can pick up something just to keep you going, like I said, to take you to the next step. So that's just a quick tip there. That's just a quick way that you can perhaps get yourself into work through agencies and through some types of work such as catering, for instance, or even sales assistant jobs if you're quickly just looking to get yourself back into something, or you just you don't want to be idle, you don't want to stay at home, um, and you just want to, yeah, move on. Um, so that is how I got myself back. But initially, and before the agency work, I was actually looking after a young child in their home. So, which is a childminder technically. And um, I would have classed myself more like a nanny, because the context in which I did it and the way in which I did it, I would say that going into a home and spending X amount of time in that home would qualify me as a nanny to that child. And that is how I started. And that was bringing me some extra cash during the week. And it was really helpful to get myself just something small to get myself out, and then break routine and just gradually give myself time to think about what my next step were. So I hope that information was useful. If you watched up to now, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you even took time um, to just take it all in, share this information with others, give the video a like, and please don't leave without commenting or subscribing if you will. Until next time, bye bye.